my argument that I started with, the argument that I'm driving home right now, is that 20th century design isn't going to get it done in this century. That the print solutions we had, if we don't adjust, if we don't do something about it and get rid of TV dinner, if we don't do something about it actively, then we're not going to get it done. That the things that needs to get accomplished can't get accomplished. Design is not about looking pretty. Print in disguise is rampant on the web, and what it means is that elegant and beautiful failures can hide in plain sight. They win awards. They win lots of awards. They're going to win awards this week. More than ever, we have to embrace that visual design, which is just part of the overall design, is a means to an end. It's very easy to treat it as an end. Hey, look, it is this thing. It is Harry Potter. It is beautiful. You go to a meeting and say, is this beautiful? Yes, it is beautiful. Good. Here's your money. You've done a fine job. But visual design is a means to an end. What's really going on is that design is what it does. And what does design do? Design solves problems. And what does that mean? That means designers have to step up. Designers have to step up. They have to be part of the leaders of, if not the leader of, defining a problem. And then they have to do the second hard part, which is now we've defined the problem, I have to come up with solutions to solve that problem. That's what design does. That's what design needs to do in the 21st century. That's what's going to allow 21st century web design to transcend its print foundations. Lots of conversations about when should you get design involved. If you say, when should we get design involved, and you accept that there's this little thing that is design that is look and feel, the answer is right at the end, because that's all you're good for. That's not the right answer. The right answer is design's at the beginning along with everything else, because design is this big thing. But for the 21st century, I think the model isn't TV dinners. I think the model is jambalaya. How many people have eaten jambalaya in this room? Good. Tell the other people about it. You know exactly what those individual ingredients are when you put them into the mix. But as soon as it cooks, what comes out of it, you cannot separate one from the other. And we're not talking about oatmeal here. We're not talking about where they all boil together and they're just this this mediocre taste. We're talking about a life-changing experience. If you have good jambalaya, you're like, my life will never be the same after this. It's incredible stuff. The web is about a single user and the information that they choose to interact with. If the design has got to be for specific users. The days of the elastic user, where whatever you do, if you want to get it through the rest of the team, you say, well, this is what the user wanted, this is what the user doing. This elastic user who is everything is not going to work. It has to be specific. So now the paternal editor is not telling you where to go through this stuff. The user is. The user is navigating this. We talked about user-centered context, right? The user drives the context. The newsroom takes advantage of the fact that it's an engine for content, and you take advantage of pretty simple technology, metadata. It's just putting those pieces together. We shouldn't be distracted by business models that don't begin and end with the user. It's the exact same piece I said about designers. If it doesn't begin and end there, you're wasting your time. You may not be wasting your time for that project, you may be not wasting your time this year, but ultimately you are going to be wasting your time. Okay, you sold us, you sold designers, you sold developers, but what about the clients? How do we get the clients there? A lot of times we get hired and we come in and we say, okay, here's the answer to the question you asked us, but you're asking the wrong question. Here's the question you should be asking us. And what I like is, it's continuing, is they'll do that on every engagement. Now it hits on about 10% of the engagements, or sometimes it hits years later, but it hits. And I think that's how change happens. I think this is being done right now by the most successful organizations online right now, and I hate to mention Amazon, but I have to. One of the things I like about Amazon is they're nuts. They will try stuff on the fly that if I was there and they asked me, I'd say, don't do that. Oh no, that's a bad idea. They'll put stuff up for a day. They'll test, they'll get some sort of understanding of what they wanted out of that. That means we're out of time. And then they'll take it down and they'll do something else. So I think you try stuff. Before you try it, maybe you do a better job than Amazon does of saying, how will I know if this is successful? But you do it on the fly. You maybe do it in the face of reason. You say, this is going to ruin the user experience for some users, but I'm going to do it anyway, short term. I think that's the way to do it. And we can't be distracted by failure. If this stuff was easy, we'd already be doing it and I wouldn't be talking about it. This stuff is hard. The best way to do something that's hard is to screw it up, is to fail at it. Ideally, you're going to fail at it quickly. Ideally, you're going to fail at it quickly in an environment that says, that's okay. What did you learn out of this? Okay, let's move forward. Almost a manic attention to failure is absolutely essential.